Hello, everybody, and welcome to Reviews That Don't Matter with Jessica Hitt. My name is Jessica Hitt, and on today's episode, we are talking about the Netflix original TV series called Glow. I'm going to give you a little bit of backstory. So, growing up, pretty much always, I have not liked wrestling. I thought it was stupid and fake and blah, blah, blah. Until just recently, about 2.5 to 3 weeks ago, I inexplicably... whatever that word is. I'm not going to try to say that again because I'm going to fail again. I somehow have decided to watch one YouTube video of a match between some WWE divas, and now I'm a huge WWE wrestling fan. Don't know how it happened, and you know what? I'm obsessed with it, and that's when I decided to watch Glow, which I was really avoiding for a while because I just did not think I would enjoy it because I did not like all of that wrestling stuff. I thought it was stupid. And I'll tell you what, I am so happy I watched this show. Glow is so much fun, and it's so entertaining, and it's heartfelt, and it's funny. And Netflix did a half-hour comedy really well, which I was starting to think was not quite possible to make a good comedy in just a half hour and make them short episodes. Because when you do that, you run the risk of being a Big Bang Theory or one of these shows that are comedies, but not exactly funny. In my opinion, you can think the Big Bang Theory is funny. I just would think that you are wrong. And I think the thing that makes Glow work so well, besides, of course, the casting and all of that, is the fact that it's real life funny. Like, these are the types of jokes that I would be making and be laughing at if my friends made. Like, these are things that, like, you would say just to be funny, but they're not, like, lines. They don't feel like someone's just reciting some random joke, like it does feel in a lot of like the CBS comedies, Fox comedies, all of those. It's just a stupid joke after a stupid joke. That's what those are. And occasionally you get one that has a little bit of heartfelt meaning to it, but I don't know. I was not sure you could make a half-hour comedy good. Okay, this show, in case you have not watched it, I'm a little bit far into the video to be explaining what the show is even about. It is about the Gorgeous Ladies of Wrestling, which are the first real female wrestlers that ever developed in the United States. And it was sort of this indie project brought on by a guy. I don't really know how accurate this is to actual history. I know that Glow was a thing, but I'm not 100% sure. Like, are these the same characters? Like, what... Did they do the same show at the very end? Like, I'm not perfectly sure about all of that. I just know the basics are true. Glow was a thing. It was the first real female wrestlers. This was the time of when, in the 80s, when Hulk Hogan and all of these people had just really hit big. And, of course, no one thought that women could do it. And I do think that this show is really timely in the sense that it showcases a lot of women that aren't necessarily seen as being that stereotypical pretty Hollywood woman. Like, obviously you have Alison Brie and Betty Gilpin, who are very beautiful people. Alison Brie I'm a big fan of. I love Community. I think it's one of the most underrated comedy shows that's a 30-minute comedy show, I believe. I thought it was 30 minutes. Might have been an hour, but that's a great show that really got the butt end of it, where it was scraping together all of those last seasons because they weren't even sure if they were going to be renewed. Great show. Watch Community if you can. So I've known Alison Brie for a long time, been a big fan. I've never heard of Betty Gilpin. Actually, I think Betty Gilpin's her name, right? That does feel like Betty Gilpin feels like a name from a 50s show or something like that. Like, it belongs in Mad Men, but that's the actress's name. And both of them are obviously the two leads. And then you have just this selection of amazingly talented women who are different. And that's what I love about this show, is that when they were casting it, and even in the show, when they're casting the wrestling show, it was really just like, you wanted to see these different people who would be committed to it. And these are all people who decided to show up to an audition where you didn't even know what it was. It was just sort of like this weird indie side project. And I really enjoy that pretty much everybody that showed up were people who were just like there, that really did not have any excuse to be there. They just decided to show up for an opportunity. And I appreciate that because I do feel like that's the type of people that I gravitate towards too, and I can kind of feel Like, I belong in that group of people, and I like that they all develop this real sense of like sisterhood around each other, and they all, even though they're all completely different, and they start off like kind of mean and a little catty to each other. Or some of them do. And in the end, they all are this family that they really love, and they put out a product that is just so entertaining and so heartfelt, and they all care about tremendously, even when, of course, things are not going their way. Also, what I like is this show had the guts to put in a character as the lead, Alison Brie's character, who makes a very bad decision that really harms her best friend, who is played by Betty Gilpin in this. And traditionally, you're not supposed to like this character. This is the antagonist of real life. And this is something that, like, as a best friend, like, anybody would never think that they would ever do that to their best friend, and she does it, and it's just like, you inherently should not like this person, but you do, because it shows this really sad and lonely side to her that kind of makes sense how she would somehow make this decision and how bad she feels. And she thinks of herself kind of as a terrible person. She knows that. And then she just puts herself into this wrestling show as this villainous character, which, I mean, obviously they cast her as the villainous character. And I keep saying, like, they cast, as in, like, in the show, the director of the wrestling show cast her as the villainous character, because that's what she is seeming to everybody. So she is the antagonist. She's the one that people are going to boo. She's the heel in wrestling terms. And Betty Gilpin's character, the one that was harmed by, I don't really want to spoil too much, so it's you're not going to get all the details. Basically, the one that's harmed by her best friend, Alison Brie's character, she's the face, which is sort of the good guy of the show, the one you're supposed to root for. But it's a lot of fun rooting for the heel, just saying. And Alison Brie really just embraces this character, and she does this really, like, terrible Russian shtick, because in the 80s, the Russians were the really bad ones. I mean, they kind of still are. But basically, I mean, this is obviously set in the 80s, when this is kind of the height of all of that, and very USA. So you kind of get to see all of those old beliefs that used to just, like, permeate within the society, and they show it, and they kind of like feed into that, which is fun. One thing I will say for season 2, when it comes out, I'd really like it to explore some of those stereotypes a little bit more. Like, you have the Indian girl who has to play the Arab terrorist, and you have the Chinese girl who has to kind of be like a samurai bad character. And I would really like to explore how that affects the characters to have to play these stereotypes. And it even shows in the very last episode, when they're doing the show, like, people are just like absolutely hating the person who has to play the terrorist role. Like, they throw things at her, and you can tell it physically upsets her, or emotionally upsets her, and physically. But I want to see more of that in the second season, and maybe see them try to fight back on that, or completely embrace that. Because it's an underlying, like, plot in this whole thing, but it's never fully explored. And I think that's really where season 2 needs to do, is kind of expand on a lot of those women that weren't necessarily at the forefront. And there's a couple characters I especially like to see more of. I would really like to see more of the one who played Machu Picchu, who was sort of the daughter of these wrestling legends, and she kind of helped with a lot of moves and all of that kind of stuff, and she had stage fright and kind of overcame that. And I would like to see more from her, because I think she's a great little actress, and I thought she was probably my favorite character all around. I would really like to see more from, oh my gosh, Cherry's her name. She is she was one of the first people cast, and she was also their trainer and choreographer in a way. And I felt like she started off really strong, and then they kind of put her on the back burner for a while there. And I really want to see more from her, especially because at the end of the season, she kind of gets this offer to do something else, and, like, is she going to stay with the group? Is she going to take that offer? Who knows? But I was really hoping to see more from her. I'd like to see more from the director. I think he was fantastic in this. I don't know the actor's name, but he's like this guy who was coked up, and he, this is the 80s, so, like, everybody was coked up, really. And, he makes these just, like, B movie, D movie is what I'm going to say. These D movies, these are just terrible, terrible movies, which I think I'd probably really enjoy if I saw them. I'd be interested to see if that part is real too, like the director of the wrestling show also did a lot of these movies that they kept referencing throughout the show, like I would want to see those. I need to do some research on this show is what I need to do. Glow is a show that I would legitimately probably recommend to everybody, especially because it's an easy watch. You know, it's 30 minutes, goes by really fast. I think it's 9, 10 episodes, so it's a 5-hour show, and I it goes by really fast. I think I watched it. Yeah, over one night, I think I watched it. I might have stopped in the middle and then restarted it in the morning is probably what I did. But, this is something that I think everybody could like. Even if you don't like wrestling, I think that this is an entertaining show in itself with the great characters and the good dialogue, and also the look of it is a lot of fun, too. Plus, this show does not have any unnecessary romances. It's amazing. It's so good. These women are just women who don't need to have a man in their life. And, some of them are obviously married and stuff like that. But I like this fact that it's really just about women. And it's not this stupid trope of, like, I'm in this really lonely place until I meet this guy, this generic white guy. So I really appreciated that. So also another reason I'd probably recommend it to anybody. Okay, everybody, I hope you guys liked this review. If you did, give it a thumbs up, comment down below. What are your thoughts on Glow? Are you excited for season 2? Because I am stoked for season 2. Also, don't forget to subscribe and make videos Monday through Friday. I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye.